rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every part by heart. Overture, curtain lights, this is it. We'll hit the heights, and oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.
Hey, we're back. I'm Goose.
I'm Logan.
This is On With the Show, and if you just saw our last segment, we talked about the disastrous
retheming of Splash Mountain to the Avery Salt Mine.
Yeah, there was some people are calling it Tiana's Slave Mine Adventure.
Yeah,
Tiana's Slave Mine Adventure. Yeah, that's anyway. But it's interesting because again, one of the questions has been, okay, now they're retheming the one
in Magic Kingdom. Why haven't they started work at Disneyland?
And I think, for one, again, I've heard a twofold answer. And again, I saw a great video from my good friend Chris Provost from Provost Park Pass, who basically, took this question on. Why have they not started the retheme over at Disneyland? Mm-hmm. And basically he talked with someone on the inside over at Disneyland, and they said, well, the big reason is they have a lot of closures already in mm-hmm. progress. Tarzan's Treehouse is still closed.
Mm-hmm. Are they just refurbishing it? Or
they're refurbishing it.
Okay.
But it's taken a long time to refurbish. That thing's been closed for at least a couple of years, mm-hmm. Which I thought, it's a tree house. Well, how much
longer are you going to take?
How much longer is it going to be? But they currently also have Indiana Jones mm-hmm. and the Kingdom of the Forbidden Eye closed. That's closed down for major refurbishment. They basically, there's a lot of things that's been kind of neglected. They said the snake wasn't even moving.
Really?
So it's down for major refurbishment. They have Haunted Mansion closed because they're still cleaning up the mess from the Christmas. They haven't rethemed it back from the Christmas.
Really?
Yeah. I'm like, why is it taking so long?
February. And they still got the Halloween decorations up?
Yeah, which is interesting. And then they still have Toontown. Even though Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway is open, mm-hmm. Toontown's still closed.
Okay.
So
did they just have a little pathway to the ride, or
I don't know.
Or what?
But apparently, one of the things that's being said is that if you go into the park and you go left, mm-hmm. like to Adventureland, or that the only thing they basically have open, they have Jungle Cruise. If they have Jungle Cruise, Pirates of the Caribbean, and Splash Mountain, and Winnie the Pooh. Basically, that's it. That's all they got.
Really?
That's all they got.
It's
open.
almost like how they had it. What was it, at Epcot, or it was lots and lots of walls.
Yeah.
It's like I remember the last time we went to
Walcott.
The last time we went to Disneyland back in August, so much construction walls up, it was almost comical.
It was pretty interesting, but they're waiting. The rumor is they're waiting for some of these attractions to reopen, mm-hmm. because I
just don't want too many rides closed at the same time, because then it's going to be like, I paid $100 and God knows how many ticket prices are now. It's like, I paid such and such amount to be here, and I only get to ride one ride.
Yeah, there's nothing over here to ride. And not only that, but there would be almost no reason to go all the way. I mean, to go all the way to ride Winnie the Pooh. I mean,
mm-hmm.
Again, nothing wrong with Winnie the Pooh. We love the ride. Mm-hmm. And you got Hungry Bear.
That's a ride you hit when you're in that area.
Yeah, that's a ride you hit when you're in that. Hungry Bear. It's like you eat at the Hungry Bear. What are we going to do? Ride Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
Let our food settle. But they basically have said there's nothing over there, mm-hmm. so they need Splash Mountain to stay open so that guests can kind of funnel over in that direction mm-hmm. and still ride it, which I get. It's like a lot of people I think are now they're trying to hit the ride before it closes for mm-hmm. refurbishment. So that's one story. However, in going through Twitter and seeing a lot of the Disneyverse. Mm-hmm. that are like, we need to still try to save Splash Mountain. We still need to try to save Splash Mountain. And one of them came up, they have, and I think, I'm trying to remember which one it was, because apparently it was somebody that's like higher up that gets the news and the rumors going through. And apparently the head of Disneyland Resort, Ken Patrick, has been lobbying to keep Splash Mountain.
Really?
Yes.
Huh.
He's been lobbying to keep Splash Mountain. As a matter of fact, he has about half the board on his side. He even had Bob Chapek kind of listening to him and thinking, yeah, maybe this is, maybe it's good if we keep Splash Mountain.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, Chapek was fired, and Bob Iger came back, and Iger's like, no, I want to do this. We're going to retheme it. We're going to march on ahead, And so Patrock has half the board. Iger has half the board.
So they're completely split.
And so
retheming.
what everybody's waiting on is for Josh tomorrow to make a decision.
Or is he going to be like the tiebreaker?
He's like, I don't know. Maybe. Well, remember, Bob Iger came out shortly. He had that big old town hall, and they asked him about the parks. He goes, well, I'm going to leave a lot of that up to Josh tomorrow.
So we just got to wait. It's like, what does tomorrow have to say about this?
And so for right now, Josh tomorrow is basically like Switzerland. He's like,
pretty much.
He's like, I'm staying neutral. Because I think what it is that Josh tomorrow, and again, it's been rumored when a lot of this was going on that Iger wanted to fire, Iger wanted to fire Patrock, but he couldn't because Patrock had half the board.
So he wanted to fire him because he didn't want to do the
didn't want to do the retheme. Yeah, that's kind of what it's leaning towards.
Interesting.
And I think basically also because he was part of the Chapek crew that was there, and Iger's cleaning house of a lot of the Chapek people that are there. That's just what I'm thinking. Just what I'm hearing, and so and so tomorrow they're waiting on tomorrow to make a decision. Because I guess they feel that whichever way he goes, the board will go with him. Now again, this is all rumor. This is all rumor that's coming out of the Disney executives' boardrooms. How much of it is true, I don't know. I find it interesting. I find it
that it's completely split down the middle and all left to the decision of one man.
Yeah. And tomorrow's in a very bad spot because if he goes against Iger, Iger could I'm the CEO. I mean, you're gone. Goodbye.
Sure.
So tomorrow doesn't want to lose his job.
Piss off the CEO.
Doesn't want to piss off the CEO and lose his job. At the same time, Iger
don't want to piss off half the board.
And at the same time, Iger has come out and said that, well, I'm going to trust Josh tomorrow to do what's right for the parks. So this looks really interesting. And I'm just kind of wondering, and I know that some people, because I've heard some people come out and say, oh no, they're going to close Splash Mountain in mid to late April, maybe early May to start the refurb or the retheme. And I'm kind of like looking at this going, I don't know. I think that after, and again, one of the things that Ken Patrock looked at, and I think one of the same things that Josh tomorrow looked at was when Splash Mountain closed in Magic Kingdom, all of the upset people that were there that it was closing and are kind of like, maybe this isn't such a good idea after all. And now that we've seen what the retheme is going to look like for, as we just talked about. At least
in Magic Kingdom, they're probably like, maybe we should hold off
Maybe we should hold off on this because I'm kind of thinking that maybe Josh tomorrow is like, you know what? Let's look and see how this goes in Magic Kingdom.
In Magic Kingdom before we decide to also close the one in California.
Because if we do them both now, we may not
may
have.
even lose more money than if we just closed one.
This may not be good optics. They also somebody brought up, what about the one in Japan? First of all, the one in Japan is not being touched at all because 51% of that theme park is owned by the government of Japan.
Mm-hmm.
And the people of Japan love Splash Mountain. Mm-hmm. They love it. They don't, they think it's like, one of the best rides ever. And I've been told that the one in Japan actually is probably the best of the three. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to go back to this. I find it interesting. I find it very interesting that this is kind of going on within the Disney universe, behind the scenes, and that we might be able. I think tomorrow is going to hold back. I think at the very least they might split the baby. They might say, "Let's say
we're going to have original Splash Mountain in Disneyland, and then Avery Salt Mine Splash Mountain in Florida."
In Florida, and see what happens. I think after what happened at the Magic Kingdom with all the fans kind of like,
I don't know, like having a little mini protest of sorts.
Yeah.
They're probably like, yeah, we're going to try to avoid that happening at Disneyland.
And again, you gotta, with the earnings call you gave just a few days ago.
Losing, what was it? 2.4 million?
Something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be best to make decisions that won't lose you money.
And here's the thing, and not only that, what's the interesting part about that is that, people that are for the Safe Splash Mountain crew have looked at this earnings call and say, well, if you lost money, if you want to be able to make that money back, I think
you should keep
Splash Mountain the way it is and stop this retheme.
Mm-hmm.
But again, that would mean that they would have to, kind of
admit they're wrong. God knows they don't want to do that.
No, yeah. So this ought to be interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all plays out, and seeing what will all become of it. In the meantime, I think I'm just going to kind of sit back and watch,
and wait and see what they do.
Wait and see what they do. We're scheduled to be going to Disneyland in late March, and so I'm looking at this as maybe being possibly the last time we ride that ride.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows? Things might change, and it might be there for your kids to ride. Who knows? We'll see.
Just wait and see what happens.
We'll see what happens. But until then, keep up the good work, all you safe splashers out there, and maybe we'll actually get someone at Disney to actually listen to us, and we'll go from there. But I guess I keep repeating myself. This ought to be interesting.
Yep.
Overture, curtain lights, this is it, the night of nights. No more rehearsing and nursing a part. We know every card by heart. Overture, curtain lights, this is it, we'll hit the heights. And oh, what heights we'll hit. On with the show, this is it.